Picture this, right? You are at a 7th birthday party.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the tension in the room is palpable, but, it's the good kind of tension.
Right, the excited kind.
Exactly. So the cake is out, the 7 candles are flickering, and the birthday girl takes that big anticipatory deep breath to blow them out. And then, boom,
Disaster strikes.
absolute disaster. An uninvited, just incredibly petty, magical villain comes crashing down the chimney and ruins absolutely everything.
I mean, it is the universally understood nightmare scenario, right? Nothing stops a celebration quite like an angry wizard looking to settle a social slight.
It really sets an immediate mood. So, welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a brilliant piece of children's storytelling today. It's a tale called The Princess and the Wizard.
It's a great one.
It really is. And our mission today is to take the story and just break it down into its core mechanics. We want to distill it so it's incredibly simple, easy to understand, and totally accessible.
Which is so important when you're dealing with kids.
Right. The whole point is that you, listening right now, can confidently share this with the kids in your life. Or, honestly, you can just appreciate the hidden architectural brilliance of a really well-crafted fairy tale.
Yeah, because it is a remarkable text to dissect. I mean, on the surface, it reads as this simple, whimsical story about a princess trying to escape a wizard.
Yeah.
But when you look closer at the gears turning underneath, it is an absolute masterclass in narrative structure.
Yeah.
It uses linguistic repetition and cognitive development strategies for young minds.
It secretly teaches critical thinking, doesn't it?
It does. It's teaching problem solving, all wrapped up in camouflage and magic.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the beginning of this narrative wastes zero time.
No, it jumps right in.
We have Princess Eliza blowing out those 7 candles, and this wicked wizard thunders into the room, demanding to know why he wasn't invited to the party.
Classic villain behavior.
Totally. And I absolutely love Eliza's reaction here. She doesn't cower. She doesn't hide behind her parents.
No, she steps right up.
She does. She sassily tells him, straight to his face, it's because wicked wizards like turning people to stone.
Which is hilarious because she correctly identifies his fundamental nature. And, ironically, that triggers him to immediately prove you're right.
He just shrugs and says, so they do. And with a flick of his bony fingers, he turns everyone into stone. The king, the queen, all the little party guests.
Just bam.
Statues.
Bam, statues. And he laughs this horrible laugh and tells Eliza they also happen to like capturing princesses. But before he can just, whisker away to his dungeon, there's a whirring of wings. Ah, the cavalry arrives. Right. In flies the fairy godmother. She is terribly late to the party, sees the absolute disaster in the dining room, waves her wand, and sets the rules of engagement.
Yeah, she establishes a very specific, unbreakable, magical contract. She basically declares that the princess gets 7 chances to escape by changing her color and changing her shape. And the wizard, being just incredibly arrogant, just laughs at this. He thinks it's completely futile. So he snaps his fingers, turns the poor late fairy godmother to stone as well, drags Eliza up the chimney, and locks her in the cellar of his tall, dark castle.
It's a dark start.
It is. But before we get to the actual escape attempts, I have to ask you about this setup. Because why do bad guys always agree to these complicated games instead of just keeping her locked up?
Right, why play along?
Exactly. It's like a supervillain monologue. They just can't help themselves. They have to play this theatrical game instead of just taking the win.
I mean, it does feel like a villainous flaw, for sure.
Huh?
But if we connect this to the bigger picture of children's literature, that game is absolutely essential.
Really? How so?
Well, the villain has to accept the parameters to create a predictable, safe structure for the young reader's brain. Think about the specific numbers being used here.
Okay. It's Eliza's 7th birthday. There were 7 candles on her cake.
Right.
And now she has 7 chances to escape.
Exactly, the rule of 7. And the rule of 7 is deeply ingrained in human psychology.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, in cognitive science, there's a famous concept known as Miller's Law. It suggests the number of objects an average human can hold in short-term memory is 7 plus or minus 2.
Oh, wow. So it's literal brain science.
It is. For a developing child, locking the narrative into a 7-step journey is deeply satisfying.
Yeah.
It anchors the story. I mean, the world just got turned to stone, the protagonist is kidnapped, and that's terrifying for a kid.
Right. You need something to hold on to.
Precisely. The child listening feels psychologically safe because the boundaries of the chaos are clearly defined.
It gives them a map. Like, you don't feel lost in the scary castle because you know exactly how many stops are on the train ride.
Exactly. It creates a container for the anxiety. which makes explaining it to kids so much easier.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But let's look at how this plays out day after day, because the game is entirely rigged. The rules are set, sure, but the wizard has a magical cheat code.
Oh, a massive cheat code. His big red magic book.
Right, because he relies on omniscient data rather than his own eyes, so Eliza's physical camouflage is doomed from the start.
Yeah, every single day, he gives her a head start. He stands there with his eyes closed and counts to 100. But he has absolutely no intention of tracking her physically. He just consults his book.
The book literally rhymes her exact location to him. So let's look at Monday. Eliza runs out of the cellar, sees the blue moat under the blue sky, jumps in, and turns herself into a blue fish.
Which conceptually is great camouflage.
It is. But the wizard hits 100, opens the book, and the book spoon feeds him the answer. It says, to find where Eliza is hiding from you, look in the moat for the fish that is blue.
And he just marches right out and fishes her out.
He does. And the punishment he issues is so wonderfully petty. He makes her wash a mountain of blue plates and pots and pans covered in dried up food.
Notice the sensory details layering on top of each other there. You have the visual of the blue fish in the blue water matching the blue plates.
And the dried up food. That is a very specific, gross texture that kids instantly understand. And, like, the gross factor just escalates.
Oh, for sure.
Because Tuesday morning, the wizard checks the clean blue plates, grunts his approval, and gives chance number 2. So Eliza runs to the farmyard, turns into a yellow chick, and hides in the yellow straw.
Again, solid physical camouflage.
Right, but the wizard's book rats her out again. It says, the straw in the farmyard is yellow and thick. Princess Eliza's disguised as a chick. He scoops her up, and her punishment this time.
It's so bad.
Darning a cupboard full of yellow socks with holes in them made by his pointy toenails.
It's delightfully grotesque. And what's fascinating here is how the story is operating on 2 entirely different pedagogical levels simultaneously.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, on the surface level, it brilliantly uses camouflage as a cognitive teaching tool. Every day introduces a new color, a new animal, a new habitat, and a new chore.
Right, blue fish, blue water, yellow chick, yellow straw.
Exactly. Wednesday is a green grasshopper in a green meadow, and she's punished by wiping slimy toothpaste off a green bathroom.
Slimy toothpaste. It's so visceral.
It really is.
Then Thursday is an orange fox in orange leaves. Friday is a purple butterfly in purple flowers. And Saturday is a black cat in a black tunnel.
It is a full-spectrum color lesson wrapped in a high-stakes prison break. And when you are telling this story to a child, these are the critical moments to pause and engage their developing neural pathways.
So you really lean into those descriptions.
Yes, because the brain learns best when concepts are linked. By combining a color like green, an animal like a grasshopper, a habitat like a meadow, and a deeply visceral sensory punishment like wiping slimy toothpaste.
The
The
toothpaste.
story is essentially stamping that memory into the child's hippocampus. The gross out factor isn't just for laughs. I mean, evolutionary biology dictates that we remember visceral, slightly repulsive things much more vividly.
That is brilliant teaching and a great tip for anyone reading this to a kid. But I have to say, it is also so unfair to Eliza. I was reading this and getting so frustrated for her.
It's incredibly unfair.
I mean, it's like playing hide and seek with someone using a GPS tracker on your phone. She is out there doing her absolute best. She's relying on sight, relying on her environment to blend in perfectly. But he's relying on data.
Yeah, it is similar to a GPS tracker. But if we dig a bit deeper into the mechanism of the book, it's actually much more invasive than that.
How so?
Well, a GPS tracks a physical device, right? This book isn't scanning the physical environment like a radar. It's tapping directly into the metaphysical truth of her identity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, she isn't just hiding. She physically morphs into a blue fish.
Right.
But the book knows she is Eliza disguised as a blue fish. It transcends the physical world and reads the informational reality of the universe.
Which means she is completely doomed unless she changes her entire strategy. Because physical camouflage is mathematically guaranteed to fail against an omniscient data scraper. So Eliza needs a massive paradigm shift. She has to figure out how to beat the omniscient book itself.
And the stakes reach their absolute peak here. It's Sunday morning. The wizard isn't just grunting today.
No, he's gloating.
He is standing on the roof, laughing his horrible laugh. He reminds her this is her 7th and final chance. If he catches her today, she works for him, washing dried food and darning toenail holes for the rest of her life.
No pressure whatsoever.
None at all.
So he closes his eyes, starts counting to 100. Eliza turns herself into a white gull and flies way up into a cloud. She's hovering there above the roof. And as she looks down, she sees something she hasn't seen before.
The book.
Yeah, she sees the actual open book in the wizard's hands. She watches the words physically forming on the page as he counts. And she finally realizes, so that's how he finds me.
It's the pivotal moment. The protagonist finally understands the mechanics of her oppression. She sees the algorithm at work in real time. It's not a prophecy book. It's updating live.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Instead of trying to hide from the wizard again, she decides to hide in the wizard's system.
It's such a great twist.
It is. She swoops down and turns herself into a page of the wizard's magic book, a perfectly blank white page, right in the middle of it. She pulled off a magical cyber attack.
She really did.
I mean, she's a computer hacker. She didn't just hide from the surveillance camera. She edited the footage. She literally became a blank piece of code in his operating system.
It is a phenomenal lesson in critical thinking. And your hacker analogy is close, but it's actually more akin to a logic bomb.
Okay, a logic bomb. Walk me through that.
So she didn't just hide her code. She created a null value. She becomes a blank page.
Yeah.
Think about how a database queries information. The wizard's brain is the hardware. The book is the software.
Right.
Software queries Eliza's location. But because Eliza has become the medium of the software itself, the return is a null value. The front-end interface, the page renders blank.
Oh, that's brilliant.
The system simply cannot process it, which causes a total catastrophic crash.
I can just picture the absolute meltdown. He expects the data, he expects his rhyme, and he gets a 404 error, page not found.
Exactly.
So he finishes counting, he reads the previous page. It says, the princess turned into a bird in the sky. She hid in a cloud, then she had one more try. And then he turns the page to see where she went next, and nothing. Just blank white space.
She doesn't try to overpower him. She outsmarts the very system he relies on. She identifies the medium of his power and becomes a blind spot within it.
And he completely loses it. He flies into a blind rage, shouts, "You stupid book," and hurls it straight off the roof into the moat.
A huge mistake.
The biggest. The book lands with a splash, sinks to the bottom, and all of the wizard's magic is instantly gone.
Which really highlights a classic vulnerability of tyrants and villains. They rely so heavily on their absolute tools of control that when the tool glitches for even a second, they destroy it themselves in a fit of rage.
They are their own worst enemies.
Always. Eliza didn't even have to destroy the book. She just had to render it useless for a moment, and the wizard's own temper did the rest of the work for her.
She used his arrogance and anger entirely against him. So the threat is neutralized, the magic is broken, the game is technically won. But we have a logistical problem now.
We do.
Our hero is currently a blank piece of paper stuck on a roof, and she needs to get back to her palace.
Right. Well, when the book sinks and the magic breaks, the spell back at the palace is simultaneously lifted. The king, the queen, all the party guests unpetrify and come back to life.
And they must be panicking.
Oh, they immediately start frantically asking where Eliza is. But only the fairy godmother knows, and she just smiles and says nothing. She knows her magical contract worked.
Meanwhile, back at the castle, Eliza turns herself from that blank white page into the blue fish. She swims to the edge of the moat. Then she turns into the yellow chick and runs across the corn in the farmyard.
She's making her way back.
Yeah, then the green grasshopper hopping over the grass, the orange fox racing through the leaves, the purple butterfly fluttering over the flowers, the black cat straying through the tunnel, and finally, the white bird flying all the way back to the palace window.
The structure here is beautiful. It methodically reverses the entire pattern we just spent the last 6 days establishing.
Now, I have to ask, so what does this all mean logically?
What do you mean?
Because I was reading this and thinking, she does this whole victory lap, but frankly, it feels a bit redundant from a purely practical standpoint.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Right. The bad guy is defeated, the magic is broken. Why force the reader to drag through every single animal again, instead of just cutting straight to the birthday cake? Like, you're a bird, Eliza. Just stay a bird and fly the whole way instead of doing a full Animal Kingdom triathlon.
I mean, from a purely logistical standpoint, yes, maintaining the avian form would be much faster.
Exactly.
But from a narrative and psychological standpoint, it is crucial that she reclaims those specific forms. Think about what those animals represent.
Her failures, I guess.
Yes, those shapes and colors were deeply associated with her failure, her capture, and her humiliation. Washing dirty dishes, darning toenail socks, wiping slimy toothpaste.
Oh, I see.
By voluntarily taking those exact shapes to journey home in freedom, she rewrites her own narrative. She reclaims her agency. She transforms symbols of her captivity into vehicles for her liberation.
Oh, wow. I love that so much. She's taking her power back every single step of the way. She is overriding a bad memory with a triumphant one.
And for a young child listening, this reverse sequence acts as a built-in memory game replay.
So it's another teaching tool.
Exactly. It closes the pedagogical loop. It reinforces every single color, animal, and habitat they just spent the story learning, cycling backwards through the week.
That makes it so much easier for a kid to absorb.
It does. It provides massive psychological and narrative closure. You are actively undoing the trauma of the kidnapping step by step, color by color, bringing her safely back to where she belongs.
That is just brilliant story design. So she flies through the window, perches on a chair at the tea table, and changes back into a princess. Her parents and the guests hug her, and then the ultimate victory, Princess Eliza, finally gets to cut her 7th birthday cake.
And everyone gets a slice.
Naturally, the interrupted party resumes exactly where it left off.
The circle is complete. Order is restored to the universe.
It's so satisfying. So to summarize our deep dive today, we took a children's tale about a ruined birthday party and uncovered an absolute masterclass.
A masterclass in narrative structure.
Yeah, it teaches colors, matching habitats, and the days of the week. But most importantly, it teaches the power of critical thinking to outsmart an impossible rigged system.
It really imparts a vital lesson. When the rules of the game are fundamentally rigged against you, you don't just play the game harder, you change the parameters. You become the blank page.
I love that. And to you listening right now, you now have the perfect blueprint to tell this story. When you share this with a kid, you know exactly how to make it simple and engaging.
You have all the tools.
You do. You know where to emphasize the rhymes to build that cognitive map. You know, to really lean into those gross sensory details, like ham up the wizard's pointy toenails and the slimy green toothpaste, because that's what makes the memory stick for a kid.
Absolutely.
And you know exactly how to build the suspense right before that brilliant blank page twist.
It is a story that empowers the listener, providing them with the tools to confront overwhelming odds. But this actually raises an important question.
Oh.
Yeah, a lingering detail that the text leaves remarkably unresolved.
What detail is that?
Well, we established that the wizard's magic was housed entirely within that big red book, right?
Right.
It was an incredibly powerful computational artifact, updating in real time, pulling metaphysical data from the world.
The omniscient magic database.
Exactly. And in his rage, the wizard threw it into the moat. It sank to the bottom, breaking his active spell on the statues. But, and here's the thing, the book didn't burn. It wasn't destroyed.
Wait.
It's just sitting there, fully intact, at the bottom of the blue moat.
Oh, no. Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, since we know from Monday's escape attempt that the moat is filled with blue fish, what happens to the creature down there that eventually stumbles upon it?
Oh, my God.
I mean, is there perhaps a magical bluefish wizard waiting to rise from the depths?
That is terrifying. I guess we'll just have to wait for the sequel to find out, but that is definitely something for you to ponder until next time.